Imagine waking up to blood pooling under your feet, a headless bird on your balcony, and whispers in the dark that won't stop. This isn't fiction. This is the nightmare my family lived through in rural Ohio. Stay with us, if you dare, for a story that'll haunt you long after the screen goes dark. Hey, spooky friends, how's everyone holding up out there? I hope you're braced for a bone-chilling tale. A huge shout out to all of you for watching our videos and dropping those eerie comments. You're the pulse of our haunted community. To keep these terrifying stories coming, we need your support. Smash that like button. It's like a ghost's whisper to our channel. Let's dive straight into today's nightmare. My name is Emily, and we lived in a quiet town just outside Columbus, Ohio. Our family was once the picture of success. 4 of us, thriving, respected, untouchable. My husband, a retired bank manager, and our 2 eldest kids, a son and a daughter, held prestigious jobs in animation. But it was our youngest, Ethan, who unknowingly set off a chain of events that shattered our world. A small mistake and a marriage decision plunged us into a nightmare that still claws at my soul. We had 3 children, our eldest son, our daughter, and Ethan, born 8 years later after we reconsidered family planning. Ethan was our pride, a brilliant student, always topping his class. His siblings adored him, spoiling him as the baby of the family. Life was perfect until Ethan's job at a local bank in Mansfield changed everything. Ethan landed a position at First National Bank, a rural branch outside Mansfield. There, he met Sarah, a coworker who just earned a promotion to a higher post. Their branch celebrated her success, and Ethan, new to the job, was urged to congratulate her. He didn't know her, so a colleague shared her number. That evening, alone in his apartment, Ethan called to offer his congratulations. That call was the spark that ignited our downfall. Sarah didn't know Ethan, but their conversation sparked a connection. They started talking regularly, meeting occasionally, until one day, she invited him to her home. What happened there, we'll never fully know, but within 3 months, Ethan was under her spell. Oh! He'd changed, distant, secretive, guilty for leaving us in Columbus while he worked in Mansfield. We visited him, bringing his favorite meals, teaching him to cook, but something was off. One day, my husband visited Ethan and found his wallet on the couch. A photo of Sarah slipped out. When asked, Ethan lied, saying it was just a work photo. We believed him, or wanted to. Soon after, Ethan was transferred to a remote branch in Chandlersville, Ohio, 25 miles from Zanesville, a desolate area surrounded by dense woods. He was promoted to deputy manager, a golden opportunity. But at 24, he hated being so far from us. He begged to resign, but we convinced him to stay, citing the rare chance and our old friend James, a retired bank manager, settled in Chandlersville. James offered Ethan a vacant house to stay in. We took Ethan there, stayed 4 days, and returned to Columbus, hoping he'd adjust. But Ethan struggled alone, mocked by locals for being an outsider, unable to find decent food. He'd call, pleading, "There's nothing to eat here, I can't stay, convince Dad to let me quit." We urged him to endure, believing he'd adapt. My husband dismissed his complaints, saying, "Hardships build character, he'll be fine." But Ethan wasn't fine. Sarah somehow secured a transfer to the same remote branch. 2 months later, at 10 p.m., a mob of 20 people stormed our 4th-floor apartment in Columbus, waking us with threats. "We want your son! He must marry our daughter!" My husband, recovering from heart surgery, was stunned. "Who are you?" "Our son's only 24. His older brother isn't married, and our daughter's marriage failed. She's back home. Marriage now? Impossible." They screamed, "If he doesn't marry her, we'll kill you all!" Their vile threats grew darker until my husband called the police. They fled, but we were left shaken, wondering who they were and what tied them to Ethan. Sleep evaded us that night. The next morning, at 7 a.m., they called again, claiming Ethan wasn't who we thought. "If you want, we'll marry our daughter to him." We refused, too terrified to tell Ethan and burden him further. Unbeknownst to us, they'd taken Ethan from Chandlersville to Columbus and forced him into a secret marriage at a community center. James called, frantic, "Ethan hasn't been home in 3 days!" My husband, a heart patient, panicked. Ethan's phone was off. His childhood friends knew nothing. We were lost, unable to trace him or the mob's address. James revealed Ethan had taken leave, claiming his father was ill. The bank manager relented, noting an upcoming festival would extend leave. But Ethan wasn't with us. Days later, James called again, shocked.
You said you didn't know where Ethan was, but he's here with that girl and 10 others like bodyguards.
We were horrified. Ethan had married Sarah in secret, and they'd returned to Chandlersville, hiding in James's house with her entourage. We contacted the bank union, but they dismissed it. They're married. What's the issue? A lawyer in Zanesville warned. Filing a complaint might backfire. Let it go. Ethan finally answered our call, snapping,
We'll talk later. Hang up.
Before switching off his phone, James confirmed the group was living in his house, but Ethan was unreachable, as if kidnapped. For 20 days, shame kept us indoors. And as my husband and I headed to a hospital for his heart checkup, our car crashed inexplicably. He escaped with minor injuries, but I was bedridden for 3 months, barely surviving.
One morning, I stepped onto the balcony and felt something underfoot, a headless bird soaked in blood.
I screamed, waking my husband. He dismissed it as a predator's doing, but I wasn't convinced. The next day, I found intestines hanging on the clothesline, like laundry. My husband cleared them, but fear gripped me. Day after, blood stained our clothes, and the balcony was littered with flesh and bones, except near our holy basil plant. Daily, our balcony, sinks, and flower pots filled with blood, bones, and headless birds. Sleep vanished. Daughter felt hands pressing her shoulders, pulling her hair, but no one was there. My husband's health worsened. He stopped eating, staring at the ceiling fan, muttering, "What if we all died, Emily? Ethan wants us gone." One night, as we sat sleepless in one room, I felt something cold underfoot, blood pooling on the floor. We were breaking. I called my mother, who urged us to seek help. My daughter's friend recommended her brother, Nathan, a priest who worshipped divine figures and countered dark forces. We visited Nathan's home in Akron. In meditation, he described Sarah exactly. Her height, eyes, expressions, without ever meeting her.
She has no father, but 4 brothers and a mother. They wield dark, occult powers, Nathan said.
That night, she took Ethan to her home. She enthralled him. Her family's rituals severed his ties to you. He revealed our home in Columbus was near a cemetery.
At night, their rituals summoned blood and flesh from that graveyard to your balcony.
Our accident was their doing, meant to kill us. They performed a 41-day ritual to curse us, but we'd survived. Nathan gave us a sacred idol instructing, worship it for 41 days exactly, then return it, or its power will overwhelm you. We followed his guidance, cleansing our home. The horrors stopped. My husband recovered, and Ethan called, apologizing. After 30 days, he visited, took us to his home, and returned us safely. On the 41st day, we returned the idol. That night, I stepped off my bed into a pool of blood. Fear returned.
Cray!
We rushed to Nathan, but another accident hospitalized our eldest son. Nathan warned,
This ritual is deadly. Next, it'll take your daughter.
He gave us a list of items for a counter ritual. On a sacred Friday, he selected 5 people, including our daughter, tying charmed ropes around their necks.
As he chanted, our daughter screamed, sweating, collapsing as the dark force left her.
Nathan tied protective charms to our home's gates and trees. The horrors ceased. But 13 days later, we found our bank accounts emptied and our gold gone. The bank said my husband and Ethan withdrew it.
Nathan revealed Ethan's control over my husband through occult means.
A police officer advised filing a case, but my husband, frail, collapsed under a tree in Akron and died.
Our eldest son fell gravely ill and passed soon after.
By 2013, my daughter and I were alone, our lives shattered. She works a small job to support us. Ethan remains under their control, lost to us. Sharing this lightens my burden. Friends, you've heard Emily's heart-wrenching tale. A family destroyed by dark rituals, reduced to 2 survivors in a living hell. May courage fill their hearts. Share your thoughts in the comments. If this chilled you, like and share. For more real horror stories, subscribe now. If you've faced a terrifying experience like this, email us at sharethehorrorstory@gmail.com. If it's gripping, we'll turn it into a video within 5 days. Join us every night for a new real horror story.